Hey everyone, it's Anna and I'm back with another vintage cookbook. This time I'm reviewing Pillsbury's Best Butter Cookie Cookbook Volume 2. Look at this little cutie here. This is one of those cookbooks that you could send away for. In fact, if you look in the back, there's an order blank. So you can order the other volumes if you would like. One of my favorite things about this book though is this bee. Look at this little bee. Have a butter cookie baking bee. I love bees. My grandpa was a beekeeper. Protect our pollinating pals. Bumblebees and honeybees are not going to hurt you unless they are provoked. And I understand some of you are allergic to bees, but really, usually it's wasps. Wasps are kind of jerks. Follow me for more bee facts. So this book has 50 recipes from Ann Pillsbury's recipe files, oh my goodness, exclusive, including favorite Grand National Bake Off winners and cookie party ideas. There is no year in this book, but just by looking it up online, it looks like 1963 might be it. And you can kind of date it as well because it says Grand National Bake Off. It doesn't say Pillsbury Bake Off. Another A+ thing about this, the fonts. Like the fonts in here are just too good. That little like jaunty, kind of uneven lettering style. It's so great. And my little bee friend kind of makes an appearance throughout this entire book. Little bee is dancing. I just don't know who they're dancing with. We've got bee with candy cane, rolling out some cookies, mixing up some more cookies. This is a very busy bee. So this book is broken down into sections. Your basic steps in making cookies. There's a section on how to freeze cookies, which I'll touch on in a little bit. Drop cookies, refrigerated cookies, rolled cookies, bar cookies, very special cookies. Pretty much any type of cookie that you can think of, there's an example in here. I found this page on how to freeze and store cookies very helpful. A lot of times these older recipes tend to make a giant batch of cookies, like 7.5 dozen, 9 dozen. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to consume that amount of cookies in my household, which is very small, even if I cut the recipe in half. And typically I will freeze cookies or I will freeze dough, and this page gives a lot of good guidance on how to do that. All cookies in this cookbook are excellent for freezing. Save precious time at holiday seasons. Be prepared for lunchbox needs and unexpected occasions. Make cookies ahead of time and freeze them. When well packed, baked cookies, cookie dough, and unbaked cookies may be stored in the freezer for 6 to 12 months. So if you're doing a good job of wrapping those and putting them in freezer containers, they're gonna keep for you for a really long time. I personally like freezing cookie dough because I can have like freshly baked warm cookies whenever I want them. But even if you have baked cookies, it says that you can kind of warm those up in the oven at 300 degrees for 5 minutes and it's, they're good as new. The recipe format in here, not my favorite. It's the type of recipes where they don't list all of your ingredients at the top. All of the ingredients are incorporated throughout. So at least they do bold every ingredient so that you can kind of identify it. I've had cookbooks where they don't do that, so you kind of easily miss important ingredients in your recipe. We have a mix of black and white and color photographs in here. This one is called Circle O' Rangers. Senior winner in Pillsbury's 8th Grand National Recipe and Baking Contest by Mrs. Murray Sutton of Talent, Oregon. This one falls under very special cookies. These are Starlight Sugar Crisps, and they look like they're very layered, almost like a croissant. They do have yeast in them. Looking through the instructions, they're laminating the dough where you kind of roll it out and fold it and turn it, and that's kind of how you make puff pastry and croissants. So I would definitely deem these a very special cookie. They do probably take a little bit of work. So I almost selected this recipe, and you will know why in a minute when I tell you what it is. Polka dotties. But I read through the ingredients that were required, and it starts off very standard: your flour, your baking powder, your salt, butter, and then there's something in here called French's chocolate shot. I don't know what that is, and I really tried to find out what it was. Mostly came up with chocolate shot glasses and things like that, or liqueurs or whatever. I'm kind of wondering if it's just pre-melted baker's chocolate in maybe a pouch or something, so that you don't have to melt it yourself. So you didn't have to drag out a double boiler because microwaves weren't really a thing at this point. We do have a photo of these cookies. This is a color photograph, but it's really small. It's a bit hard to see. I'm gonna try my best. So it's this back tray here, and it's the cookies that are in the middle. And they do have little polka dots in them. Like, I don't deny that. I just don't know what chocolate shot is. Is it like chocolate bits, chocolate shavings? I'm not sure. If anybody knows what that ingredient is, or maybe you used it in the past, I would love to know. I just want some more information on it and I'm having trouble finding it. So please let me know in the comments. You know, I love a teenager reference in these old books. Teenage treats. For a teen party, try these recipes: peppermint candy cookies, polka dotties, which we just talked about, big wheels, caramel nut acorns, date nut bars, and blonde brownies. So just some suggestions for your next teen party if you're having one. So they suggested these, which are peppermint candy cookies, a typical Swedish molded cookie with peppermint cream cheese filling. Oh heck, I'm making these. That sounds divine. I thought they were just like sugar cookies with some peppermint sprinkled on top, but those sound great. These are on the list for the holidays this year. This is pretty cute. These are big wheels. This was another suggested cookie for the teenage party. Senior winner in Pillsbury's 8th Grand National Recipe and Baking Contest by Mrs. Alfred O. Williams of Richland, Michigan. Delicious man-sized cookies flavored with malted milk, decorated with an easy malted milk icing. It's a tiny book. There's what, 50 pages in here, but it is jam-packed with recipes, with advice. I think this is a very useful little volume. I'm really excited about the recipe that I'm gonna be making for you today, but I do think it might be more about the way it looks than how it tastes. Today I'm going to be preparing Hoot Owl cookies. And these are in fact Hoot Owl cookies. And how cute. This seems like a pretty basic butter cookie recipe with like a little bit of chocolate. This is a very different type of cookie recipe for me because they are refrigerated cookies. Refrigerated cookies are usually the type that you make the dough and then you kind of like roll it into a long log. I guess you would call it a log. And then you refrigerate it for a couple hours or however long it says, and then you slice and bake those cookies. I'm more of a drop cookie, bar cookie kind of gal. I don't even venture into cutout cookies very often nowadays. I think I have tried to do refrigerator cookies. I didn't have a lot of success, but I really wanted to try these just because they are so cute. I'm really hoping that I can manage to make these look as good as they do in the book. Let's get started. I'm gonna start with the dry ingredients in a friendship bowl. I was gonna cut this recipe in half. It's not really a good way for me to do it because there's just one egg in it. And I suppose I wouldn't have to bake all of these all at once. So we'll see how it works out. I didn't sift it. Oh, shh, don't tell anybody. I don't know why I did that. Did I just ruin the cookies? I hope not. I didn't sift that last half cup, so I'm not gonna sift this. All right, I'm just gonna whisk this a little bit. We're gonna move on to the wet ingredients now. In a solid colored bowl, also from the friendship set, coordinates, it's beautiful, we love it. I have 3/4 of a cup of very soft butter. I got the egg that I'm gonna be using out of the refrigerator a while ago and just kind of let it sit, just let everything come to room temperature. Got a red bowl, got a red spatula. Cream the butter, and then 1 cup of brown sugar. This recipe does not have any white sugar in it, so that's kind of exciting. We are packed. We're in the bowl. Add 1 unbeaten egg and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. So I think I'm gonna melt my chocolate now so that it has a little bit of time to cool before I have to incorporate it into part of the dough. I have 1.5 ounces of unsweetened baking chocolate. I'm just gonna microwave that for 30 seconds at a time, stir it and kind of like make sure it gets nice and smooth and melted. And now I'm gonna blend in the dry ingredients that we mixed a little earlier, gradually. I think the final addition is going to require the spatula. Add the last little bit. Is my neighbor over there? I don't know. I think he is. We're just gonna ignore it. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm finding this next step a little bit strange. I do need to add a little bit of baking soda to this recipe, but it wants me to add it to the chocolate and mix that together. So the baking soda is not like going in all of the dough, it's only going in like the chocolate portion of the dough, so I don't know how that's gonna work. It says I don't need to use this if I'm using self-rising flour, which I am not. If you were using self-rising flour, it'd be in all of the dough. All right, Ann Pillsbury, whatever you say. Remove 2/3 of the dough to the floured surface and then blend this chocolate mixture into the remaining dough. pat you into sort of a rectangle-ish thing. So that's 2/3, and this is the 1/3 that gets the chocolate. As delicious and wonderful as this chocolate looks, there's no sugar in it, so it does not taste that good. When you were a kid, did you try to eat baking chocolate? You just saw a big chocolate bar in the pantry and you thought, that's for me? Woo, it's getting chocolatey in here. Look at that. Looking good. I think a ruler is gonna come in handy for this next part. Roll out half of light dough into a 10" by 4.5" strip. My floured surface here. I just need to make it a little bit longer, like that. Oh, that's like too long. Come back in. So now I need to roll this out to be 10 inches. A little bit further to go. Oh, see, now I made it too long. Gotta take you down a bit. Now it's too short. Doing fine. Shape half of dark dough into a roll that is 10 inches long. Okay, that's easier because I just have to like make a little snake. I don't have to make it flat. That needs to go in the middle like this, see? Mold sides of light dough around dark. So this is, oh, I'm not gonna move it too much. This is what we have, and they need to chill for at least 2 hours. So I will be back later. It's been about 2.5 hours and we are ready for the fun part, the assembly and baking of these cookies. This is what we're going for right here. I did have a little bit of breakage, so I trimmed the edges a little bit so that they would be not so ragged. So right now what I have to do is cut slices that are 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. 1/4 is there. So I'm gonna attempt to assemble one of these. Place 2 slices together on a greased baking sheet. I have non-stick baking sheets, which I don't believe they had back in 1962, so hopefully that's okay. To resemble an owl. Okay, so you're supposed to put them side by side like this, and then you're supposed to like pinch the corners, which that really does kind of make them look a little owly. So I'm gonna push these together the best I can. I have some chocolate bits here. So you're supposed to put like a chocolate chip like that, so it makes the little like the pupils here. Press a whole cashew nut between the slices for a beak. So that does kind of look like an owl. I mean, I think that's so oh my god, it's so cute. Yes, oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Got our little guy here. Oh, I didn't do my pinches. Gotta do my pinches. I love it. These would be amazing for Halloween. Oh, that one, I kind of put like little eyelids on that one, so it looks slightly worried. Oh, this is a good cashew. Oh yes, oh yes. That one is the best owl beak yet, I think. I'm gonna continue to put these together and then we'll bake them off and see how they turn out. So I couldn't wait for the rest of these to bake. I had to show you what they look like now and just look at them. So cute. I can't believe that worked. Word of advice if you do make these, and I will include the recipe in the description down below, you're gonna wanna crimp these together in the middle a lot more than I did because we did have a casualty here. This is gonna be the one that I'm gonna taste now. They're still warm. Maybe, you know, I might have moved the cookies a little too quickly before they cooled, so that could be on me. You know what? They are a little dry. We'll see. Maybe they crisp up a little bit when they completely cool. I'm impatient and I couldn't wait. This little touch of chocolate in the eyeball here does help it somewhat. These would be a lot of fun to put together with kids, especially if you want to make the dough ahead of time and then have kids like decorate them. I'm so pleased with how these turned out. I mean, it's a cookie, it's good. I hope you like this video. I had so much fun making these. I really do appreciate each and every one of my viewers, of my subscribers. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red button below. I make videos about food, vintage cookbooks, and retro recipes every single week. Thanks again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!